mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it. I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Oh, the day after the Super Bowl. What a clown show that was. Thank God I didn't watch it. I saw some highlights from it. I'm not impressed at all. I feel the energy and everyone is like, boo, boo. Everyone's booing. And even Bad Bunny got to the point that he deactivated his Instagram. He is so distraught. He is so hurt. He believes hate above. He believes in love. It's Valentine's Day. Where's all the love? Listen, if you didn't go over and say fuck ice over at the Grammys, we probably wouldn't be at this point today. Okay, so learn from your mistakes. Learn to keep your shut the fuck up. Keep your trap shut and make the money and shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? You're already successful as it is. Are you running for politician? Are you running to become a president or something one day, Mr. Bunny? Because I don't think so. All you are is and they'll dump your ass in a heartbeat and they'll turn on you in a heartbeat. So don't get it twisted. This guy is like a demon. He has sold his soul to the devil for sure, and you can tell his music it's just not positive, not happy. So oh well, Bunny, we're gonna see a couple of things here. This show is gonna be short. I had a really long day today. I had a chiropractor appointment. The first appointment I had was my physical therapy, and for some reason I had 2 appointments in one day, and I'm like, I hate when they do that. So they really worked on me really hard today, both of them, and I am tired. So we're just gonna go through a couple of videos. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and maybe a 7 add-on. But let's just go jump right to it. Hopefully we'll get this done less than 2 hours. All right, we'll see. Let's go. Set this up and let's watch. First one we're gonna hear is Jason A. Hello? Oh my god. That's not good. Oh, they're tracking people. They're tracking everyone. Oh well. They gotta keep track of their cattle. Keep in check with their herd. Yo, what's up, Albie? What's up, Terry? How you guys doing tonight? So they put the bill on us, but they're using our cameras. Make that make sense. If you want me to have your camera, you better pay me to fucking have it. Are you fucking kidding me? That does not look like a real person. Here goes the censorship. Here comes the censorship. Wow, they want to control their herd. They don't want you to think freely. They want to control you. No sound? Are you kidding me? This whole time there was no fucking sound? You gotta be kidding me, right? Oh Lord. Fucking StreamYard, man. I'm so tired of them. No sound? Yeah. Thanks. It was like video was like halfway done. So let me set it up again. All right. Bring it back over here. I'm so tired of StreamYard. Yeah, I'm so tired of them. But they're doing a lot of changes, so I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. All right, let's try this again.
This is Milo. Pets are family. But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor
Here now.
cameras looking for a match. Search party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party. Available to everyone
Here now.
for free right now.
This will include the largest ever rollout of live facial recognition technologies across England and Wales. We know this approach works. In London,
For Aussies, a good night's sleep
good,
starts at the front door. New home security cameras don't just record, they tell you what happened.
I want to know what the bumps in the night might be, or if the dog's going around just chasing things in the yard.
Mum of two, Justine Firth, is testing out the most talked about feature, video descriptions.
The app's telling me that there's a person carrying a box, and that's the time and date. But it's also got a really detailed description.
Brands like Arlo, Reolink and Amazon are supercharging their cameras with AI. But the best part, these new technologies won't cost you a fortune, with prices starting from $119.
Now AI can understand what's
$119.
captured in a video and actually describe that to you in text, and then
And
send
you
you a
gotta pay for
message
the
explaining
subscription.
what the video is,
fuck?
so you don't have to actually go and watch the video.
Aussie homes are getting smarter. About 31% now run a security system. Well, soon your camera will be able to recognise familiar faces. And if your dog goes missing, it'll send alerts to people nearby to help find your pooch. No matter what you buy, the biggest tip,
You want to also make sure you look at how much the subscription costs are, because you'll need to pay that every month.
At nearly 6 feet tall, the newest police recruit on patrol in the city of Wuhu commands attention, less because of the uniform than the 6 high-definition cameras and advanced sensors under that hat that allow the AI-powered robot called R001 to manage the flow of traffic and people in the streets and around the clock. It looks just like a real person at first sight, says this pedestrian. Real-life robocops like this have been rolled out in other Chinese cities too, including Chengdu, Hangzhou, and Shanghai. One of the police instructors says the robots work alongside human traffic officers, or they can tap into the traffic lights to work solo.
Starting next week, my government will implement the following actions. First, we will change the law in Spain to hold platform executives legally accountable for many infringements taking place on their sites. This means that CEOs of these techno platforms will face criminal liability for failing to remove illegal or hateful content. And for that, we governments need to stop turning a blind eye to the toxic content shared under their watch. Second, we will turn algorithmic manipulation and amplification of illegal content into a new criminal offense. Disinformation doesn't appear by itself. It is created, promoted, and spread by certain actors. We will go after them as well as after the platforms whose algorithms amplified the disinformation for profit. No more hiding behind code. No more pretending that technology is neutral. Third, we will implement a hate and polarization footprint, a system to track, quantify, and expose how digital platforms fuel division and amplified hate. For too long, hate has been treated as invisible and untraceable. But we will change that, developing a tool that will provide the basis for undertaking future penalties. Because spreading hate must come at a cost. A legal cost, of course, a financial cost, and a moral cost that platforms can no longer afford to ignore. Fourth, Spain will ban access to social media for minors under the age of 16. Platforms will be required to implement effective age verification systems, not just checkboxes, but real barriers that work. Today, our children are exposed to a space they were never meant to navigate alone. Space of addiction, abuse, pornography, manipulation, violence. We will no longer accept that. We will protect them from the digital Wild West. Fifth and last, my government will work with our public prosecutor to investigate and pursue the infringement committed by Grok, TikTok, and Instagram. We will have zero tolerance on this matter, and we will defend our digital sovereignty against of foreign coercion.
Civil liberty advocates and some lawmakers are sounding the alarm on the privacy risks of federal agents using surveillance toolkits during immigration enforcement operations.
Yeah, armed with facial recognition on their smartphones and professional camera gear, ICE agents are actually photographing the faces of the people they encounter during their daily operations. So it's all setting a new precedent for street-level surveillance and raising a lot of new privacy concerns.
NBC News AI fellow Jared Perlow joins us now with this story. Good morning, Jared. And Jared, your article this morning reveals how these ICE agents are using these tactics during their interactions, their daily interactions with both possible targets and also the people, the citizens who are observing all of this, right? What's happening out there and how is it different today, how they're using these tools?
Well, so I think it's important to realize that facial recognition itself is not new. We've had this technology for decades. Many people use it. Millions of people use it every day when they open up their smartphone or when they go through TSA. But what's happening now with ICE and Border Patrol officers seems like an incredibly new phenomenon and in decently scary ways, according to the people we talk to. So it seems like there's two different ways they're using it. One, they're using a new app called Mobile Fortify from the Department of Homeland Security. And this app basically allows officers on their smartphone to determine somebody's citizenship status. So we've seen this happen, or we've heard reports of this happening in Minneapolis, for example, where ICE agents will go up to an individual, they'll ask about that person's citizenship status. If they don't have papers on them or documents proving their citizenship, then they can then scan a photo of that person's face using this app, and it will run through its algorithm and determine whether that person is a citizen or not. The other way that we've seen this facial recognition technology being used is to take pictures of observers. So we've talked to people in Minnesota and in Maine who went out to observe ICE. They were at a gas station in some cases. They were looking at what the ICE agents were doing. Then the officers took pictures of them, and in some cases said that their photo was going into a database potentially of domestic terrorists. So it's a pretty concerning situation.
The robocops aren't designed to be particularly fast or fearsome, but they are a key part of a wider strategy here to show off China's advances in robotics and to make machines more familiar to the humans whose lives they'll soon be transforming. Chinese robots have moved quickly from factory floors to daily life since 2015, when China's government declared robotics an industry to dominate. It has scaled up to produce 595,000 industrial robots and 13.5 million service robots in the first 3 quarters of last year. Morgan Stanley predicts China's robotics market will hit $108 billion by 2028. There are now more than 150 companies making humanoids.
So how long have you worked here?
We went inside one of the leading firms called Unitree last year and met G1 EDU. The robotics industry is backed by state funding, a lot of it, as well as venture capital. China's supply chain and talent pool help too.
Describe the pace at which robots and humanoids are evolving here.
Once it will work, it will go very fast. I think the unsolved problem at the moment is really still the brains. You don't want to have a robot that does a job 90% right. You need to have it do it over 99% right.
The robotics craze here is also powered by a state-sponsored public relations machine. Videos across social media show off robots kicking and performing stunts. Last year, Beijing hosted the first ever World Humanoid Robot Games, with robots in all shapes and sizes competing in events ranging from soccer to sorting luggage. These days, it's about accelerating embodied AI to build robot brains that can both think and interact with humans. With China's aging population and declining birth rate, robots and humanoids will change the future of work and daily life here.
Yep, that's your future.
Leaving the trundling robocops on duty in Wuhu to be only a preview of what's to come.
Yep. Yeah, y'all all fucked. Like, the younglings are fucked, and there's really going to be no privacy, really. Any camera is going to be able to pick you up and like, okay, this person is here at this restaurant, so it's like it verifies. If you're a good person, you really don't need to worry about it, right? If you're a bad motherfucker, you truly need to worry, because it picks up, unless you wear a fake prosthetic face. You make yourself look a little weird. Maybe some, I don't know. I say like Vanilla Sky. Remember Vanilla Sky, the movie with Tom Cruise? Pretty good movie. Such a very psychological movie. Very, very good movie. But my mind goes to that Vanilla Sky, and how advanced we are. We're so advanced with technology. Well, like kids nowadays, like I remember when I went to school and my growing ups, like I remember coloring books, crayons, and just the simple shit, and go to school. They give you all this work and shit. You did it. I remember when I got sick, they sent me home, and then I had to have like a packet of fucking work that I had to do. So I just did it all like within a day. I did like all the work, so the rest of the week I didn't have to do it. And also during the vacations, I remember during vacation times they used to give the fucking dittos. They used to call them dittos. It was like and it was a whole fucking folder full of fucking work. I'm like, bitch, I'm on vacation. This is you putting me to fucking work. It's like, what's going on here? It's like, damn, what happened to vacation? But anyhow, that's how the government has you programmed, man. Once the government has you, you're born into the government, right? And they got you for life. You get given a social security number, you give them a birth certificate, and there you go. You continue on with life. You go through the educational system, and they'll determine if you're gonna struggle or not. And it's just, oh man, it's just every year people give birth to babies, and it's a cycle. It's a full cycle. You know what I mean? Like the goal is to continue to have a lot of babies, and the old dies and the young rise. So let's keep on with the show. Got another thing here. Let me set it up. This is Liberal Hive Mind. So let's check them out.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And here's the meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Holy freaking crap. What an absolute disgrace that was. Now, I mentioned this on my X account that I watched the Super Bowl, and not only did I watch it, but I also tuned in at least a little bit to the halftime show, and people responded to my post saying, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Why would you watch it? We're boycotting. Well, first of all, it's kind of my job in a way. Just like I'm watching MSNBC and CNN and all the woke stuff constantly, even some woke TV shows. How can I comment on this stuff without actually watching?
I didn't watch it.
Makes sense. And like I've always
I'm
described,
not
especially with watching mainstream
I'll watch it
leftist
from
media,
somebody
I
else's.
watch it so you don't have to. And so, yes, I did in fact subject myself to whatever this Bad Bunny event was. I call it cultural
I did my show live.
terrorism.
You can go
Can't
watch
get that time back. No, it's gone forever. And I got to tell you, it's depressing, not just because it was bad, not just because it was really talentless, classless crap, but also because it's a reminder of, in my view, what is going so wrong. Further, the replacement of American culture, the degradation of American culture and traditions. I believe what we saw on stage was cultural replacement on full display, on full blast. They took the most iconic American stage and basically said, F your tradition, F your culture, and here's some woke reggaeton slop with a bunch of ass shaking. Maybe I'm taking it too far. I'm sure some people will feel that way, but this is how I feel genuinely. And so let me express it. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So, you kind of get an idea of what my take was. Of course, we'll elaborate a little bit further. But, well, I got to tell you, it appears I don't think I was the only one. Not just the people boycotting the show, but also the people present during the halftime show at the actual Super Bowl. The crowd just looked dead, totally unimpressed, confused. People are just not even paying attention on their cell phones. Look at this.
Yeah, people were like standing around. Few people wiggling. A lot of people just standing.
Look at that reception, folks. This is the
Or
Super
sitting.
Bowl halftime show, the most watched moment in American television. And the crowd looks like they're at a damn funeral. Who thought that this was a good idea? Really, can you blame them? I
It's
mean,
like a
having watched that
funeral, for sure
performance,
I did.
I gotta tell you, not only was I insulted, not only did I view
And
it
I
as
think they got
a
weirded
symptom of
out.
the problem, but also just from a perspective of talent and culture.
Hold on, let me pause him for a second. Let me just say this. I think the crowd was already weirded out before the halftime show started. Because I seen video of them setting up the halftime show. They had bushes with people in it. And they were running to the field. You couldn't make this fucking shit up. And they were so proud and happy, and they earned a $3,000 check. That was all they got paid for weeks and weeks of practicing and holding. And I, from what I heard, the grass crap that they were holding up, those, each one of those weighs 40 pounds. 40 pounds. And they had to set up and there were people in it carrying 40 pounds. Ain't that kind of like slavery in a sense? You making these people carry 40 pounds of fucking grass so you could do your little performance that sounded like shit in the stadium. Like I heard it from people that were there, like live, and I'm like, that sounds horrible. Like the live sound horrible. I was like, oh my god, this is just not good. And then you could barely see them in the field. Like you can't even see the concert. They're behind the fucking human bushes. What the like? I'm like, what in the? I was like, man, what? Thank God I did not watch it live. Thank God, because the ratings, I told you, all you got to do is turn it off, because that hurts them more than anything. The ability of you, the power that you have to control what you see and what you not, is turn that bitch off. It hurts them more. It hurts because you gotta understand. I think it was like over 25 million people tuned off, like they turned off the halftime and went over to freaking the TPUSA concert with Kid Rock. And their numbers went crazy high. Like, and Bad Bunny was so pissed. He was so mad that he deactivated his Instagram account. Like, he makes money off of that stuff, and he just deactivated it. That's how mad he is. Listen, you that's the card you played. This is the results you got. You're not gonna win if you're gonna go against Trump. Trump has all the cards. He always does. He don't even need to be there for him to downfall by himself. He self-imploded in the Super Bowl. It makes him like, for a second I thought, like, I was listening to like Milli Vanilli for a second. It felt very fake. It didn't feel real. Like the music, like, and then you would hear him singing live. I was like, this is some kind of like Milli Vanilli moment. And then like during the, like, even when they were showing like the live, and you would see it like through the camera lens, it just didn't make sense. Like, I didn't understand, why would you make all those people suffer by carrying 40 pounds of fucking grass to set up for your virtual set? And then you have all these people grinding with each other. You had guys grinding with each other. Like, how is that family oriented? You had people humping in the back of the fucking truck. You guys didn't see that? Like, you had people like dry humping each other in the back of the fucking truck. So I'm like, how is this like FF like like how is this legal? How's how is this like they cried over Janet Jackson's diamond crested nipple, and you dealt with this shit we just you guys had to experience because I didn't experience. I watched I watched a lot of shorts on it, and people were just talking mad shit about it. I was laughing when I saw the bushes running. When I saw the bushes running, I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" I know the people. That's why the people were so like they were so still in the show, like in the stadium, because they just witnessed like hundreds of people running like grass running onto the field. They were fucking shocked. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, it just, and then the fact that he had this little message on the top, but I thought that was all Spanish. I thought it was an all Spanish show. I thought it was like everything was supposed to be Spanish, you know. But you have on the top of the sign, you have all this little sign. I forgot what the fuck it said. It was like hate, love, or some shit, bullshit, you know, propaganda shit. They would just want you to like be programmed with. But like to have Ricky Martin and Lady Gaga, this bitch is she's such an attention whore. Like that's all she wants is attention. Like she has to be in the Super Bowl. How many fucking times have you been in the Super Bowl, bitch? Did you headline the Super Bowl already? How many times? Like why the Democrats always run to the Gagas? Like we need the Lady Gagas to help Bad Bunny pull through the whole show. He cannot do it by himself. We need to add more people. We need to add more. Who can we add? Oh, can we ask Daddy Yankee? No, Daddy Yankee, he's on a different mission. He's a mission like he doesn't want to do it. He said that he's already done with the past. That was one mission. Now he's on a new mission, and his mission is for Christ and for Jesus Christ. And that's where his mission is heading towards. His music is heading towards more of a religious, more happiness, more it's just different. So Bad Bunny feels bad, like fuck, I can't get nobody fucking like if I can't get Yankee, like who the fuck am I gonna get? Then all his choices was Ricky Martin. Like she bang. It was a long time ago. That was like forever. But Ricky Martin had his time and he had his fall. And why are we trying to make him relevant? I don't get it. I really don't get it. The guy is weird, very weird. A lot of family weird shit with him. I know of a story, something with one of his nephews he had an issue with, and it was just like crazy news out of Puerto Rico, but they really silenced it in the media here in America and throughout Puerto Rico to not make it like seem like a big deal. But Ricky Martin, man, that's it. He's to me, he's a creepo. Um, but to have the Lady Gaga, they needed to have some Lady Gagas in there, and it just didn't make any sense. Like it was just so Democratic heavy. You know, you had Green Day starting the show and shit. Like they're so anti-American, anti-Trump, anti-everything. Like, and the NFL thought, yeah, that's a great idea. That brings more unity. Yay! The F in the NFL means friendship. Yay! Man, the NFL is in for a rude awakening. They're in for a rude awakening because you know why? If people all start turning off the televisions during their games, guess what? They lose ratings. And when they lose ratings, they lose sponsorship because the sponsors ain't going to pay for people that are not watching. So the project, the whole game is going to go to shit. And, you know, maybe they'll fire Roger Goodell, which I think they really, truly need to because the guy's like, he's a panderer. He just panders to what's going to benefit him and keep him in charge and keep him in power, because he feels like he's the man, so no one can do nothing to him. But I hope there's an investigation, because I just feel like the NFL is just really rigged. I just feel like the games are just not how they used to be, like back in the 80s, 90s, and even in the early 2000s. But now it just seems like the more all the attention is towards the halftime show and the game. The game is the game. We want all the politics and all the fighting. We want to see what they're gonna what's next, you know. And I don't really care for the commercials. I haven't seen them. I don't even know like what commercials they played during the Super Bowl. I don't know. I didn't see any of them. Do I care? No. I don't want to be programmed. Like I hate to I pay extra not to watch commercials like on YouTube. Like I hate commercials. I don't know about you guys, but I fucking hate commercials. And I hate like if you're watching a movie and the next thing you know you stop and then you got a fucking commercial. Like you ruining the fucking movie by putting your fucking bullshit right in the middle of what I'm watching. Like nah. So I don't like commercials. It's like, oh, we know one thing about Rick. What? He doesn't like fucking commercials. Like, yeah, that's fucking propaganda. That's like brainwashing. That's just mind manipulation. They always want you to need. They always need you to want. It's crazy. It's just mind fuckery. That's what I call it. It's just a mind fuck. And a lot of people are trapped, you know. A lot of people are like, oh my God, I gotta watch the game. Yes, I gotta celebrate. I gotta buy my team colors. I gotta buy my hat. I gotta buy my shoes. I'm like, this world is definitely a material world. Like fucking Madonna craziness. And she's in the fucking, all that crazy Epstein shit. It's just, that Epstein list, and that's 3 million. Imagine they release the other, because there's so much information and so much stuff. Oh my God, Madonna's fucked. Like from back then, Whitney Houston's fucked. Bobby Brown, everybody from back in the days, and big time CEOs, big time record label presidents, and high uppers. It runs deep. That's why Diddy's still in jail. What do you think Diddy's still in jail? Do you think it's because of what he's doing and stuff like that? No, they're going to be adding more stuff to Diddy. You know, Diddy still got a problem. Got his own problems. And he's still in jail. So let's continue with Liberal Hive Mind. I know I hijacked them. I had to. I was like, I got hyped. And I got some new medicine too that I haven't had in a while. And I was like, oh my God. And then they had it at 7 grams. I was so happy. But it's the original glue. That's what it's called. Original glue. And boy, is it fucking good. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of people that are going to be, like, implemented within. And you know where all this information, who also knew this information too? Prince. Prince knew everything. Michael knew everything. Michael was at the fucking island. He went there. Michael Jackson. And he's on that list too, you know. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of motherfucking people. Like there's a lot of people that are like nervous, like every single day, because you gotta understand that's 3 million pages. Who has the motherfucking time to read 3 million pages? And that's not the half of it. There's more. Who has the time to go through all that? And oh my God, look, Look who's here. Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, look, she's here. Asking for a ride from Jeffrey. Trying to get a plane rides and shit. What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah. All these people were like, they're very very easy bait. You know what I mean? Like Epstein, he was a super, what you call a super soldier. You know what I mean? He knew everyone. He was ties with everyone. The guy he's an agent. You smell him? He's an agent. Is he dead? He's probably out there living his life. You know, bearded up. Yeah, the guy's richer than rich. You know, he has more like what harms him more is governments. You know, because there's a lot of people involved, and it really fucks up the world. Like, do they really want to fuck up the world? I guess the Democrats do, because they're like, release the last, release the last, release all Epstein lists. We want it all. Yet you haven't even read not even a page off the fucking 30 million. Okay? Like, shut up. Shut up, bitch. Oh man, that's a lot of pages, man. I after 3 pages, I'm already falling asleep. I'm like, fuck this shit. I can't read through this fucking shit. I got a TBI. I can't. Another traumatic brain injury. I'm not sitting here trying to read a fucking Epstein list and oh my god, look who it is. Like, no, I'm not playing those fucking games. What, like the Democrats? Like I told you, their name is more like I changed their name. I went from Democrats to demon rats. They're demon rats. They're a bunch of demons and they're a bunch of rats. So that's the new Democratic Party because they've been infiltrated and they're self imploding. It's like the starship like from Star Wars with the fucking they're blowing up from within. And the fact is there's no one that stands up and say, listen, what the fuck is going on here? Like, yo, wake the fuck up. You guys are all like taking like the Kool-Aid, the same Kool-Aid. Everybody's stuck on that same Kool-Aid. Because all of them like repeat themselves. I don't know, man. It's something funny, man. These aliens, I know they're aliens. They have to be. You know what I mean? Why is there 2 sides? Why is there 2 parties? Why is like the common sense and then the fucking crazies? Like you look on the left, you see all these like colored hair, like nose rings and all this crazy shit going on with them. And they're so aggressive. I'm like, calm down. Go drink some coffee. Fuck, man. Smoke a joint. Calm the fuck down. You guys are too hyper. Fuck. It's like we want to be living life normally, not fucking all anger and always all negative. Like, damn, man. It's like they can't they crave power. They want power. They want ultimate power. What the fuck, man? Take a chill pill. Shut the fuck up. All right, let's continue with liberal hive mind. I'm sorry, brother. Let's keep it moving.
I mean, what the hell was that? Just
I know what the hell was that
drum beat over and over again, ba 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 ba, with the exact robotic reggaeton, tone that you hear over.
Yeah, we're on the fucking sinking boat.
And then on top of it, like I said in the intro, I just viewed the whole thing as classless. Bunch of half-naked people shaking and grinding. The whole thing felt like a cheap freaking music video shot in a strip club. And every time I'm subjected to this stuff, I watch it and I'm just asking myself, what the hell happened to us? The ancestors of this nation built it with blood, sweat, and sacrifice. And they tried leaving us a culture of class. I always point to those old, archival videos, the way people used to dress, the way people used to hold themselves and present themselves, the way they used to speak. And especially if we're talking about the arts, we went from Michelangelo to this. It's an absolute disgrace. We went from symphonies and orchestras and opera, people who devoted their entire lives to music, the theory of it, instruments and incredible vocals. to ba 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 over and over and over again. It's degenerate. It's cheap. It's pathetic. And it's also a far cry from just even recent American history. Incredible American bands. I mean, people point to Creed as being the peak of the Super Bowl halftime. And, just think about the comparison. What we used to uplift these bands that had incredible musical talent. They actually played instruments. They had real vocal range,
they were
real
good, man.
talent,
Democrats
real
back in the
unique
80s
composition to
fucking-
their work. And that's what was
They had
center
this
stage,
shit.
not this cheap showmanship. Looking cool,
just-
baggy clothes, look at my
Now
sunglasses.
they're, like,
Blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, always leaning on sexual shock value. It's not even music. It's studio-generated crap. It's slop. I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, this is not America. And people say, oh, well, Puerto Rico is American. Oh, South America. Not America, not Americana, not at the Super Bowl. And I think it's also kind of hard to make the argument that actually this is as American as it gets when the entire show is in Spanish. At the very least, have somebody present in English. Again, this is the Super Bowl, not a carnival in Puerto Rico. And I don't care if you find that offensive. If you're going to select an artist to perform in America for the biggest American audience on the planet, the very least you could do is respect the language and the culture of the country. But instead, we get Bad Bunny, ooh, F-Ice, ba 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 ba, with the same repetitive beat. I hated it. I hated it, every second of it. And you know what? I feel like, again, it proves the conspiracy theory is correct, right? Oh, this notion of replacement, it's a conspiracy theory. Well, I think it's less theory and more conspiracy, and that conspiracy was on full display yesterday. It's a straight-up cultural replacement.
He was a Democrat,
the
but he
NFL
acted
basically
like a
just signaled
Republican.
out loud that traditional
I think that's
America
what got
is no
what got
longer
him
welcome
killed.
on the biggest platform, the biggest stage. They're essentially saying, we have a new demographic, a new audience, and it ain't you. And that appears to be, the trend all the time, right? Everything that's American, everything that's white, let's just say it, has to be replaced, has to be pushed aside, cannot be catered to. Everything's got to be woke. Everything's got to be foreign. And you know what? You want to celebrate foreign cultures? There's time and place to do it. But it just feels like there's never a place to celebrate white culture, to celebrate white American culture. And I question why that is. No, the notion from all these wokesters is that you can never celebrate said culture. Rather, it needs to be replaced because it's evil and it's exclusionary and yada yada. Give me a freaking break. It's the greatest culture on planet Earth. It's what makes everything possible. It's what made the Super Bowl possible. And instead you get a slap in the face. You get low talent, no talent, classless slop. Every single year, it feels like the Super Bowl just becomes more and more degenerate, more cringe and forced, and frankly, more antagonistic against everything that made this nation great to begin with. It just feels like it's so much more than just a cruddy little performance. Feels like the loss of a nation being stripped away from its traditional people, its cultural inheritors. And really beyond that, the worst part is just what we uplift. Again, we used to revere the greatest artists to ever do it. The greatest oil painters, the greatest sculptors.
They should be
Now we have this craze of modern art.
US
I painted Mickey Mouse and then slapped a bunch of freaking graffiti on it. Oh, it's art. Oh, here's a picture of a toast. And then I wrote F ice on it. Oh, modern art. And when it comes to music, again, it used to be about talent, and now it's about swag. Yo, I got swag. Yo, let me mumble a bunch of incoherent crap with auto-tune over a brainwashing beat. What happened to us? What happened to our standards, our beliefs? Feels like we've been culturally subverted. We've been demoralized. At least that's the way I feel. I don't know. Maybe I'm taking it too far. Maybe my reaction is too harsh, possibly. But this is just how I feel. This is how I felt seeing Bad Bunny dressed as a freaking Roblox character, bouncing around with absolutely no vocal talent, the same tone repeated over and over again. Not to mention, I didn't understand a word he freaking said. I just felt like something was deeply wrong, and it was less about the politics of him, being a complete woke loser. It was less about the political statement and more about a much larger statement that I felt was kind of implicit. Not necessarily from Bad Bunny himself, but just what was being presented by the NFL as a whole. And of course, following the trend that we've seen across the entertainment sphere for the past few decades. And you see like World War II veterans crying in their old age saying, what was it for? I don't even recognize my country anymore. That's basically how I felt. Maybe I'm just getting old and I'm a boomer and I'm losing touch with the times. Maybe, but I don't know. Something tells me it's a whole lot deeper than that. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
And listen, it's fucking crazy. The world is fucking crazy. I don't know. I don't know. Like, there's just too much really pure negative energy. You know, very demonic energy. And I feel like they think they have power. And the problem is that they don't. They think that they do. And they swear that they do, because this is supposedly we're living in hell. So they think they can grab their powers that way, and it's not the right way. Because I just feel like that's just a cheap way, you know, to gain energy. Because the negative energy, they love it, but they use it for other things, like how the Democrats are doing. You know, they use the useless to go out there and distract, like blocking ICE from doing their jobs. You have all these people with their little whistles, and they're blowing their whistles everywhere. You know, and they send those people out there because those people are paid. You know, these are paid actors, so they send them out to do all these distractions and stuff. Mind you, there is major fraud going on in Minnesota, and very big people are involved in this. And then they just distract you with just a whole bunch of shit around the world. Like now, all the FBI are focused in Arizona because of the lady. You know, the lady that yeah, we got the story. Let's go right to it, because we're living in a crazy world. We are.
All right, everybody, we have breaking news. We have just received a brand new video from Savannah Guthrie as we are a little over an hour away from one of the deadlines in the letter for this ransom payment. We're getting it ready. We are about to play it for you in just a moment, but I can tell you that in it, she says, we need your help. And we're going to play this for you as soon as we get it turned around. Just stick with us here. Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt on the ground in Tucson as we wait to show that to you in just a moment. Jonathan?
And interestingly, Martha, this new message is not addressed to the kidnapper or kidnappers. It is addressed to the general public. In it, Savannah Guthrie thanks everybody for their prayers. She says, we are in an hour of desperation. She said that we, the Guthrie siblings, believe our mother is still out there. She hears your prayers, Savannah says, and she says, we all need your help. She is out there somewhere, but it certainly sounds from the tone of that message, which our viewers will hear shortly, Martha, that the investigation is at something of a dead end at this point, because Savannah Guthrie's tone in this is absolutely, but law enforcement are working as hard as they can, but they need the public's help. And she appeals to anybody, anywhere, well outside of Tucson, well outside of Arizona. If you see something that you think might be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please contact law enforcement. So this, I think it is fair to characterize as a message of utter desperation. Once again, a gut-wrenching thing to listen to, as all of Savannah Guthrie's videos have been, Martha.
Jonathan, you know, so quick question here, and you make a number of good points. She's just addressing people generally, and we're going to play it in just a second. But there's no mention in this video, like the last one, Jonathan, we will pay. We understand. So what might this signal? I mean, I know you don't know this for no thing about this pending ransom time, and whether or not perhaps they do not put credence in that anymore, potentially.
Yeah, it's a perfectly fair question, Martha. This is a very different message. The ones we've seen so far, 3 videos from the family, they have all been a direct message to the kidnapper. This now is moving beyond that. This is a message to the public saying, we need your help. It almost feels, and we're all speculating here, Martha, of course, we're all trying to read a tone, but it almost feels like they feel as though this has taken a step backwards rather than forward.
Jonathan, we have
you're absolutely accurate in picking up on that tone.
Thank you so much, Jonathan Hunt. Let's play this video. Stick around for a second. Let's watch this.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place.
No.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know
this
where.
is a hard case, man.
And we need
It's
your
crazy, especially in Arizona, you know, because that's desert.
So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far
And if they
from
had this
Tucson,
planned out,
if you see anything, if you
she
hear
probably is in a
anything,
shallow
there's
grave,
anything at
like you
all
said, Terry.
that seems strange to you,
She's probably somewhere in the
that
desert
you
in a
report to
shallow
law
grave.
enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
That's wild. All right, let's go to Tyson Da Cruz.
Multiple drafts were edited to soften language and reduce explicit criticism of department leadership in that final report. This editing occurred prior to my appointment as fire chief.
America, we just got the smoking gun. LA Mayor Karen Bass didn't just fail to stop the Palisades fire. She actively covered up what went wrong.
Mayor Karen Bass intervened in the Palisades Fire After Action Report, ordering key findings about LAFD's response to be removed.
Bass told officials that she was worried that the report would expose the city to legal liability. Translation, she knew that they screwed up. Instead of fixing the problem, she buried the evidence.
Unless specified otherwise, state parks prefer to let Topaganda State Park burn in a wildfire event.
We have documented proof that California had an official policy to let the fires burn in state parks. This wasn't incompetence. This was policy, and now it's all coming out. Here, thank you so much for rocking with me. Today, we're exposing the biggest government cover-up in California, because this is textbook cover-up that would make Nixon blush. According to two sources inside the fire department, Mayor Karen Bass privately warned that the after-action report would expose the city to legal liability. She specifically told then interim fire chief that the findings about staff failures and pre-deployment decisions needed to be removed or softened. Think about what this means. Bass read the report. She saw that it documented specific failures by city leadership. And instead of saying that we need to fix this, she said, we need to hide this.
Bass, the Times sources say, told then interim LAFD Chief Ronnie Villanueva she was worried the findings would leave the city legally vulnerable for failures on lack of staffing and pre-deploying fire crews. Sources tell the Times Bass asked for those admissions to be, quote, removed or softened.
Now, here's what got changed. The original report said the pre-deployment decision did not align with policies. That's fire department language for we screwed up. But after Bass got involved, the language was changed to say the pre-deployment plan was above and beyond. Let that sink in. It went from admitting failures to praising themselves. That's not editing for clarity. That's rewriting history to avoid accountability.
Sources familiar with the process tell the Times the original report
report pointed to operational decisions by the Los Angeles Fire Department, including staffing and deployment choices.
The original report pointed to operational decisions that contributed to the fire's rapid spread. Those findings were removed. Bass didn't want the public to know that the city's decision made the fire actually worse. And when the new fire chief came in and discovered what happened,
crazy.
Even he had to
Even
admit
Diana.
it.
As
Yes,
many of you
for
are
a
aware,
wedding, right?
it is now clear that
Wasn't it a
multiple
wedding that
drafts
you
were
went to?
edited to soften language and reduce explicit criticism of department leadership in that final report. This editing occurred prior to my appointment as fire chief, and I can assure you that nothing of this sort will ever again happen while I am fire chief.
Multiple drafts were edited to soften language to reduce explicit criticism of the department's leadership. That's the fire chief telling you the report was watered down. And he has to promise it wouldn't happen again because it was so obviously corrupt. Now let's talk about how Karen Bass is responding to these allegations, because her defense is insulting to anybody with a functioning brain.
Mayor Bass has been unequivocal for months. She reviewed an early draft of the report and only asked the LAFD to make sure it was accurate on issues like weather and budget. She and her staff made no changes to the drafts.
That's her story. She just reviewed it for accuracy. That's what she said. Made no changes. But the LA Times has two sources saying she specifically told fire officials to remove findings about staff and pre-deployment failures because of legal liability concerns. So either the LA Times sources are lying or Karen Bass is lying. And given that the fire chief himself admitted the report was edited to soften criticism, I'm going to go with Karen Bass is lying.
You hear reports that the January 7th after action report was tampered with, watered
Very
down.
troubling. Right. That's very troubling.
Watch her reaction as she's asked about this before the LA Times story dropped. Very troubling, right? That's very troubling. She acted shocked that anybody would suggest the report was tampered with. But now we know that she was the one who ordered the tampering. That's not just lying. That is gaslighting. She's standing there pretending to be concerned about report tampering, but she's the one that did it. And here's what makes her defense completely fall apart. Bass claims she's been critical of response to the fire. So why would she water down a report that criticizes the response?
The mayor has been clear about her concerns regarding pre-deployment and the LAFD's response to the fire, which is why there is now new leadership at LAFD and why she called for an independent review of the Laughlin fire mop-up. There is absolutely no reason why she would request those details be altered.
Here's why. Because being critical in a press conference is different than having an official report documenting your specific failures. Press conference criticism is vague and forgettable in a couple days. An official report is evidence in a lawsuit. And Bass knew that the report would be used against the city in court, so she ordered it to be changed. Now let me show you the policy document that proves this wasn't just incompetence. This was intentional.
Unless specified otherwise, state parks prefer to let Topaganda State Park burn in a wildfire event.
Read that again. State parks prefer to let Topanga State Park burn in a wildfire event. This is from California's official Wildland Fire Management Plan issued in December 2024, just weeks before the Palisade fires. California had an official policy to let fires burn in state parks, and Topanga State Park is directly adjacent to the Pacific Palisades. So when that initial fire started on January 1st and it wasn't fully extinguished, California policy was to let it smolder.
You could not suppress fire in the state park, which is right up against Pacific Palisades, unless you had an archaeologist present to tell you where you could and could not put out the fire.
And it gets even more insane. The policy said you couldn't use heavy fire suppression equipment in state parks unless you had an archaeologist present to make sure that you weren't disturbing cultural resources. Let me repeat that. California required an archaeologist to be on the scene before firefighters could suppress a fire in a state park, because apparently protecting potential archaeology sites is more important than preventing a fire that could have destroyed an entire neighborhood.
The Laughlin fire, which the fire department failed to extinguish fully as it smoldered in the roots of plants.
And that's exactly what happened. That fire on January 1st was never fully extinguished because California policies prevented aggressive suppression. It smoldered for 6 days in roots, in plants. And then those extreme winds hit on January 7th. That smolder reignited and became Palisade fires. This, my friends, is the smoking gun. California had a policy to let fires burn. That policy prevented full suppression of that initial fire. And that failure directly caused the Palisades fires that killed 12 people and destroyed over 6,000 homes. Let me connect all the dots for you because this isn't just about one fire or one cover-up. It is a pattern of Democrat leadership prioritizing ideology over citizen safety. That policy prevents full suppression of that initial fire. The fire smoldered for 6 days. It reignited and became the Palisade fires. Then Karen Bass, who conveniently was in Ghana when the fire started, despite receiving warnings, comes back to the disaster. The fire department writes an honest after-action report documenting all the failures, and Karen Bass orders it to be watered down because she's worried about lawsuits.
Outdated and inconsistent policies, protocols, and standard operating procedures created ambiguity around evacuation authority and responsibilities. In many cases, decision-making roles were unclear.
Even the county's independent report found outdated policies, inconsistent practices, and communication vulnerabilities. They found that decision-making roles were unclear, and that's why evacuation orders were delayed. This is systematic failure at every single level. State policy prevented fire suppression. City leadership failed to pre-deploy resources. Communication systems failed during the evacuation process. And when it was all over, the mayor covered it up.
There were signs, warning signs that were there for 4 to 5 days. You know, I'm not going to say that they were ignored, but they definitely didn't rise to the level of the appropriate actions needed.
The warning signs were there. 45 days. California knew extreme winds were coming down the pipe like the Wizard of Oz. They knew fire risks were critical, and they did absolutely nothing because their ideology told them to let nature take its course. Now, here's where the story gets really interesting. Real estate developer Rick Caruso, who ran against Bass for mayor and lost, just announced he's reconsidering running for office again.
Was it this article today that really kind of made you reconsider?
Yeah, because incompetence is one thing, but it's very different to mix incompetence and now you've got somebody who is actively lying.
Listen to how he frames this. Incompetence is one thing, but it's very different when you've got somebody who's actively lying to the people that she's sworn to serve. That's the key distinction. Everyone knew Karen Bass was incompetent. She was in Ghana when the fire started. She failed to pre-deploy resources. She let the city burn like Usher. But now we also know that she lied about it and covered it up. LA residents are furious. They lost their homes. They lost their loved ones. And now they're finding out the mayor knew what went wrong and hid it from them. America, it's all coming out. Karen Bass ordered the Palisades fires after action report watered down to hide failures that could have saved lives. California had an official let it burn policy that prevented full suppression of the initial fire and became the Palisade Inferno that killed 12 people and destroyed over 6,000 homes. This, my friends, wasn't incompetence. This was ideology. California cared more about environmental policies and architectural sites than protecting neighborhoods. And when their policies caused a disaster, they covered it up. The LA Times just exposed the smoking gun. The fire chief admitted the report was edited. And even Rick, who lost to Bass, is now reconsidering running because he knows LA residents are done with leaders who actively lie to them. This is what Democrat leadership looks like. Ideology over safety, cover-ups over accountability, and citizens pay the price with their homes and lives. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Tyson, great upload. Really pisses me off because like that land is expensive, right? And that land is not even their land. To give it back to the Indians, give it back to whoever tribe is out there that's their land. claim it back now, because everything's burnt. Don't let these Democrats come and start building again on that land. If that's truly your land, now's the time to fight for it, because your Billie Eilish went to go up in the Grammys and say that this land was taken. This land is not our land, pretty much. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, this land was stolen. Like, what are you talking about, stupid? Like, help me make that make sense. That'll make zero sense. Like, how is this land stolen? Like, your house that you're living at is on stolen land. It's like, you sound like a fucking hypocrite. You make zero sense. You like put a clown suit on and just put on the red nose and just go out there and sing, because that's all you do is sing. And the Grammys, those trophies, they mean nothing. They're nothing. They're any reward. They could just make it. You could go to a dollar store and probably get a imitation one, and yeah, you're here. Oh my god, because you have a Grammy, like you're the shit. Like, you get to speak about the whole world because you sing. Like, help me make that make sense, because it doesn't make sense to me. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. It's fucking crazy. Benny Johnson again? Okay.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Don't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, man.
Oh no.
What's up, guys? Spenny. So the nightmare for the NFL continues as Kid Rock's brand new Till You Can't song tops the charts, along, of course, with Gabby Barrett and Cody Johnson. These are all performers or artists at the Turning Point halftime show. Bad Bunny can barely crack into the top 3 songs. They are tearing up the charts, and Bad Bunny wasn't even tearing up the field at the literal Super Bowl halftime show. As you can see here, no one was dancing. We've showed you the view from inside of the stadium, from outside of the stadium.
Wow,
no
nobody's
one was
dancing.
dancing. Drunk white chicks who wanted to be woke were dancing, but none of the actual fans were dancing or caring about the show because they couldn't actually see the damn show. As you can see here, it was just a pile of literal plantation weeds on the field. That was it.
And they were human.
Have you ever seen a more dead?
Like, it's dead.
Audience, nobody cheering, nobody singing along, so nobody knows damn words. Nobody knows what to say or do.
Nobody cares.
Foreign. There's a reason why the word foreign exists. Again, a random drunk white girl here and there, not really hard to get them dancing, and then this is all you get.
That's all you got.
This is what you get.
That's it?
The rest of the audience standing like a statue.
That's crazy, man.
White girls watching alternative programming.
That's crazy. Oh, but at least she's in the TP USA
program being streamed live.
Wow.
While the Super Bowl is going on in the background. It's poetic, frankly. And yeah, plenty of memes, plenty of jokes to be made. This is all you could see with your $10,000 ticket. A pile of third world, plantation weeds, effectively, that were
and they're
in
human
costumes, by the way. Like, it's really creepy, kind of.
They're costumes that
weigh
40
allegory
pounds.
there. Has there ever been a halftime show with crowd reacting with zero energy?
Weeds.
Well, yes. Yes, the energy gets even worse when you actually look at the way that Americans reacted around the country, like here inside of the bars. Everybody just staring at their plates of food, depressed. This guy, that's the energy right there. How about Mexicans? Okay, so we don't get the people who paid $10,000. We don't have the people who are like drinking in a bar. What about Mexicans and Puerto Ricans? Can they understand him? Mexican, dear white people, us Mexicans and Puerto Ricans can't understand him either.
Yeah.
This is so freaking funny. Even if you ask Spanish people, if they understand Bad Bunny. Don't worry, white people, us Latinos can't understand him either. Yes, but it's really, and by the way, this is like the truest thing. This is nearly 500,000 votes. Bad Bunny losing badly to Kid Rock as to who had the better halftime show. But boy, when you get into Black Twitter, when you get into the aunties and grannies, it gets it gets cooked.
You can't sing.
Can't
I
sing.
mean, like, what is this?
What is this?
Golly. This is ridiculous. And got the American flag and all these other flags. And yeah, God bless you too. Get off the stage. Please get off the stage.
Damn.
Okay. These are fun. Let's continue.
Y'all trying to go to the store or something, bro? Come
How
on.
black people about to act during the Super Bowl halftime show.
Hey, y'all ready to go smoke? Come on.
Yeah. Let's go smoke.
You said the food ready? All right, cool.
Food ready?
You said y'all trying to go do anything else but listen to this?
Trying to do anything else?
This is 3 months. And look who the fuck don't piss me off. Look, they size y'all boys. The sizeless y'all boys. It's Black History Month and look what they got performing.
Black History Month. Damn, Black History Month.
This is not the World Cup. This is the Super Bowl. So I've been.
That's what I was saying.
I've been reporting this all year. Look, y'all hope ICE is right outside this because this is what they're doing on Black History Month. Some of this Ricky Marty. This is not Tupac. This is not nobody. It's Black History Month.
Damn. Hey. This guy's
one of my favorites.
Watch
right
the
here.
halftime show or care if I don't understand what he's saying. Like people are saying you're racist for not wanting to watch or support Bad Bunny, and I'm like, I think that's the problem. I think there's an agenda behind why he's performing, and you're a part of it. I don't understand what he's saying, so I'm not gonna listen to it. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't understand.
He's not speaking my
either.
language. Why are you trying to make me feel uncomfortable
I'm Puerto Rican.
on an English-speaking territory?
If he slang his words
Or
and
in an
stuff.
English-speaking territory. I'm sorry.
So
I
it
don't
doesn't like I
understand
don't
what he's saying,
understand it.
so I don't really care. I don't know why he's performing if he can't speak English. That's just how I feel about it. It's just the NFL. This isn't the World Cup with soccer or something. I can understand that, but it's the NFL. Even in soccer, bro, when they be having like America News or something like that, like these folks translate the post-game interview in English.
Yeah.
So I need that at the Super Bowl halftime show. It's the Super Bowl. If you can't translate the song in English, big dog, I'm gonna need you to find somebody else because I don't know what you're saying. And no, I'm not racist just because I don't know what you're saying, or just because I don't care about what you gotta say because I don't know what you're saying.
One more, my favorite, the dude calling ICE.
Hey, look, man, all bullshit aside, like, I mean this in the most respectful, like, way possible. But if there was ever a time to call ICE, the Super Bowl halftime show is when y'all should have called them. That's when the hell y'all should have picked up the phone and dialed 1-800-ICE. Because what the fuck was that?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, it was horrible.
What is he saying, bro?
What are you saying?
How do y'all understand this, bro? Man, I gotta use ChatGPT to understand this. ChatGPT, can you translate what Bad Bunny is saying at the halftime performance for me? This is getting ridiculous. Bro, who's performing this year at the Super Bowl?
Bro, the greatest Latin American artist ever, Bad Bunny.
Who's Bad Bunny?
You don't know Bad Bunny?
When animals are
Nobody
about to
knows.
perform?
Bro, Chris, you not watch the Bad Bunny concert, bro?
I watched a little bit of it, bro. I'm not watching that no more.
Bro, what do you mean? It's going on right now. You're about to miss it.
I failed Spanish 4 times. How the hell I'm gonna understand Bunny?
Bro, it's going on right now. I think you only got like 10 minutes left, bro. Hurry up.
I would rather jump off this balcony and
Yeah.
The famous Jason Whitlock saying, I just finished watching the halftime show. A lot of money spent on trying to cover for the fact that nobody understood a word. Like most rappers, Bunny has little to no talent. He walks, talks, grabs his crotch, no discernible talent. I rewatched the Bad Bunny halftime show, says Jason Whitlock, who covers sports. This morning, it's birth of a nation for Latino people. Latinos running around, gyrating, dancing, drinking, having sex, the time of their lives in a plantation. What a celebration.
No.
Not
That's
good
crazy.
for the NFL. If you didn't like the Bad Bunny halftime show, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
We got a back-to-back on Benny, so let's go to the back-to-back on Benny.
What's up, guys? Benny. Kid Rock has completely and totally destroyed Bad Bunny, in spite of the fact Bad Bunny had billions of dollars of free PR from Apple Music. Tim Cook was hanging out with him, the Super Bowl promoting him, every network, every single corporation in America promoting Bad Bunny, and he can't even crack into the top 2 songs. Kid Rock winning Till You Can't, and then Cody Johnson in his version, both of them having their own versions of Till You Can't. Kid Rock's version, an absolute thing of beauty, the top song in the world, despite the nonstop promotion, the All-American Halftime Show. Millions and millions tuning in to all of the low IQ microwave brains that are like, oh, people watch the Super Bowl.
I'm not going to lie.
That shit was more viewers from 60-year head start on us, and more importantly, the NFL
was actually really good.
Is a $1 trillion franchise brand. You know, it's like Turning Point's a nonprofit. The point was to prove that gods can bleed. That was the point. It's like a Leonidas point. It was that, like, to prove that you don't have to just consume. You can counter program. You can just do things. It's like a paraphrase of,
turn it off.
Steve Jobs, the Apple Music halftime show.
Turn it off.
The world is built by people that are no smarter than you. And you can just create new things. You don't have to live in their box. That's the point. And that's exactly what happened, a slap in the face. He has a major cultural moment here. And there's a lot of people that are online that said, no, I'm going to switch over. But some of the people, that couldn't switch over were the ones trapped in their seats inside of the stadium. What was their life like for Bad Bunny? Starting to get like all these leaked videos of like what it was like inside of the stadium. And it's worse than anything you could imagine for the people who paid $10,000. I mean, most people could just turn it off for free. But these people, like this woman, is filming like nobody is dancing. Nobody cares. Listen to this, broad.
And they paid how much for those tickets?
No one is dancing. Not one person.
Nobody's dancing.
Hello? How?
Nobody's dancing.
Good job, lady. Now it's like, I really do. I hope they notice you.
Right?
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 Yeah, let's just break this down frame by frame. So there's no one. There's just there's just a bunch of just surrounded by a bunch of chads.
Because you can't even see.
And dads.
Well, the bushes in the way.
All of them.
And they're human bushes.
Angry. None of them.
The bushes weigh 40
happy.
pounds. I feel
There's
bad.
some chicks in there. No one is dancing because no one can see what's going on the field, lady.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know who bought your ticket, but like, look at the Super Bowl.
They're getting at least $10,000 to be running around with 40 pounds. Fuck that.
Look how lame this looks.
It is lame. Super lame. Nobody's dancing. Nobody's into it.
I like the Churro Bowl.
It's quiet.
Cockfighting in Puerto Rico. Like this wouldn't cut it. I mean, this wouldn't cut it for an urban basketball league. 6 and under performance at the end of their team sport at the YMCA. This is lame. Notice how nobody is can you can't see anything.
That's what happens when you get political.
It's just a pile of
you're going against the grain.
Look at this. You can't see Jack.
You went against the grain. You went into the Grammys and blab your
mouth. The crowd of the Super Bowl is hating the Bad Bunny. I haven't heard a crowd this quiet since the 2016 presidential election. Let's listen.
Before thinking Jesus comes first, but before I think Jesus, I want to say Like, you fucking moron. You're an idiot. And I'm glad this happened.
No one dancing, no one moving,
I'm glad this is
no
all
one
happening
enjoying themselves. Majority of the Super Bowl audience during the halftime show.
And he took down his Instagram.
There's one drunk lady. Okay,
took
we've
it down.
established that drunk ladies will dance to this stuff.
People were bashing him.
There's maybe another.
And like,
that's it.
Nobody's dancing.
There are
Nobody
tens of thousands of people in this frame.
You don't even understand what he's saying.
It's so bad. Look at this guy. Like, look at this guy.
You know, he's talking about
no
rich
one is
people
dancing.
that actually
No one
have
is
money,
having fun.
you know, to go to this shit.
The only way
This
to
thing's
watch
very
the Super Bowl
expensive.
halftime
You're
show
way
is,
up there where she's at.
Advance.
We're talking about thousands
Watching
upon thousands of
the
thousands upon thousands of dollars. It's for her to be up there. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. Better than whatever the hell this is. And then people are
Yeah,
noticing
look,
that, like,
people.
the plants were people, which is super creepy.
Look at the face,
That's
that's
probably an
creepy.
Epstein Island thing. What is it, what the hell is in the bush?
Yeah,
What
it's
is that?
creepy.
What is that? What are those? Crowd at the Super Bowl is bored AF. You're a POV. You're watching the Bad Bunny halftime performance from the stands, and you can't see anything. No one could see anything. It was all covered.
Wow,
You know, everybody
yeah,
else
you
can
can't
turn
see
it off for
nothing.
free in their living room. These people paid $10,000 a ticket.
They're crazy.
What the Bad Bunny halftime show looked like inside of the stadium.
That's it.
What a mess. What a joke. It does look like Epstein Island. Maybe that was the point. Right? Look how stupid this looks. It sounds terrible, looks terrible.
Yeah, the sounds
My
are
view of the Super Bowl
horrible.
halftime show from the stadium.
You know, they should put the corn
halftime show of
what's
your
his
$8,000
name?
seats.
Chris Rock. Remember Chris Rock?
My view of the halftime show is amazing. Looks
Put
like a
the
real
tank
rager.
with
Have you ever seen a
I
halftime show
remember
with the crowd
with Daddy,
reacting like this?
Chris
Zero
Rock.
energy.
He was
I
a-
was
he was a-
critical
he
of
was a corn.
Kendrick Lamar. I don't
Oh,
like
man,
it.
that would've been a
But
good
this
meme.
is like this is truly terrible. And insane to think that the NFL and Rock Nation meeting today, that Turning Point halftime show did not come up.
Yeah, they were hiding
Libs
from
are
ice.
losing their
They were
mind over this.
butchers.
Imagine making it your life goal to defend Bad Bunny.
Yeah,
Libs are
imagine the
screaming,
butchers were
borrowing.
all
Listen
illegal.
to this.
Yeah, I gotta pay first. I came here for the halftime show. The whole experience. Why aren't you playing Bad Bunny at the halftime show?
Because they put this halftime show on. Because this is what the majority. If you filming me,
I'm filming you. Why are you doing that? Why don't you play Bad Bunny?
I hope she
I'm
notices
gonna
you,
pay.
bro.
Get out.
I hope she notices you.
This is why.
I gotta pay.
This is why I said no.
I gotta pay first. But I'm asking a
Good,
question.
okay.
I'm not being violent. Yeah, I gotta pay first. I shouldn't pay. We're at the zoo. And the zoo.
Look at this. What a disaster. Imagine making Bad Bunny your personality, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I hope she sees you, bro. Why do they even have it on a field? No one can see anything. It's entirely pointless. I love this guy. Where are you going? Back to America. Look at this.
Where are you going?
Outside. Back to America.
Damn.
Back to America. That's right. They need to
Man,
seriously
that's crazy.
Redo this
He
Jay-Z
needs to be
Rock
fired.
Nation multi-million-dollar partnership to the Super Bowl halftime show. For
he
many
needs to be
reasons,
fired.
Jay-Z and Beyonce, truly evil. You know, don't look too far into it.
That's
It's
why
why
they keep
Lady
getting
Gaga
Gaga
performs all these
and,
things.
and,
You know what I
and
mean?
all these stupid people to get on to
Sick
the
stuff.
Super Bowl.
They're sickos. Shouldn't be surprised. This is why we're so proud to have provided a wholesome alternative. Thank you for watching.
Crazy,
Okay.
man. All right, let's keep it moving. We're going to go straight to another liberal hive mind. So let's jump right to it.
Single.
Oh, throw in the garbage.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's the meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. All right, well, it's been less than 24 hours since Bad Bunny's disgraceful halftime show, and already the leftist copium gaslighting machine running at
one
full
person
capacity,
complained.
full
Everybody else,
speed.
I was enjoying
Frickin'
the music. They had
moly. I
good
mean,
music.
these people actually want you to believe a couple things here. Firstly, that the
I don't
Bad
like
Bunny
TP I don't
performance
like
was
TP USA,
totally
but
wholesome.
artists that were
It
there
actually
performing
exemplified
were badass.
everything that
It
is
was really good.
America and traditional family
It was
values.
good.
Traditional family values. Oh my Lord. The Washington Post
There was
actually
this
posted
one
this
guy,
on X.
I didn't really like the music
Analysis.
that much.
In general, Bad
forgot
Bunny's
what
Super
his
Bowl
name was.
halftime show had the kind
But
of
he was the only
wholesome
one that I
traditional
just
family
didn't like.
values that would have
The
it
others
fit
were
right in
really
with some of
good.
the more sentimental commercials that
And there
appear
were
during
music
the
that I
game.
knew.
Wholesome traditional
Fucking Kid
family
Rock killed it,
values,
man.
people.
Kid Rock,
Yeah, nothing says family
man, nothing
values
feels more better than
totally
fucking Kid
slutting
Rock,
it up on
like,
camera.
with a
And
fucking
that's the
guitar,
stuff that
man.
I
That
could show
motherfucker's
you.
so
There's
fucking
actually
good.
some worse moments, some real
Like his
raunchy
singing is
stuff,
so
even
good.
between two dudes. Yeah, nothing says traditional
He's just
family
very good.
values like two
He's very good
dudes
at what he
freaking
does.
dry humping themselves in the most sexual manner you could imagine on screen.
Especially
Boy,
when
oh
he puts
boy,
on
oh boy. They want to convince you that this is something that should be celebrated. But like usual, they're completely contorting the truth. But the worst part of this gaslighting campaign is the argument that people are making that this is America. And actually, Bad Bunny's performance was totally patriotic and is bringing us all together. Or another claim that it was inclusive. No, my friends, it was exclusive. And yet again, another woke insult to the nation and what stands for, the complete antithesis of patriotism. Let me go ahead and make that argument. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's start off with this whole patriotic claim. You know, the argument is that it was patriotic because, well, there were a couple American flags during his performance. Yeah, well, you know what else I noticed? Every other flag of the Americas. And I think we should put the message of his show into proper context.
All right. I don't know what the hell happened there. I just got thrown out of like StreamYard. So let me reset this real quick and continue watching. That was just weird. I just got thrown out.
Every other flag of the Americas. And I think we should put the message of his show into proper context here. I think people are totally misinterpreting it. Sure, he had a ball that he put in front of the camera that said, "Together we are America." And during his performance, he listed off a whole
He
slew
was
of
hot
nations.
back in those
But I
like
noticed very interestingly,
late 90s,
as he was going
early
on and on,
2000s.
Puerto Rico, Guatemala, Canada, El Salvador, Chile. Well, he omitted America. He named every South American nation in Canada. And this message, people are saying, was so deep, so woke. But no, it was dumb. And again, it was insulting. It was globalist slop, you know, falling in with this globalist notion of a post-national world. We're just all the same, bro. No, dipshits, we're not. And that's the entire point. This is cultural relativism at its finest. The idea that no culture is better than another. That America has no unique identity, no values, no history, and really nothing worth preserving. No, just blend it all into one big, borderless, valueless sludge. It's insulting, and frankly, I find it naive. America is not nothing, and one thing it isn't is the same as every other nation, and certainly not the same as all of those nations that were listed there. No, America stands for something different. At least I used to think it did. You know, I think Steven Crowder pointed this out perfectly.
Wait a second. When you talk about Hispanic, South American, Latin American pride, do you realize that every place he just named is objectively awful? Let me go through it. Chile, 868 kidnappings in 2024. Argentina is probably the best amongst them. They reached an 8-year low as far as inflation in 2025 of 31%.
Jeez.
Uruguay, first Latin American country to legalize suicide. Paraguay actually is one that's actually, I'll let them be exempt. Conservative, uninterrupted conservative leadership for about 70 years.
I don't know why.
Bolivia, of course, are seeking to decriminalize cocaine. Peru, large swaths of the interior completely ungoverned. Or Ecuador, let's go through that. Murder rate 8 times that of the global average. Brazil, the current president jailed his political enemy and former President Bolsonaro, and they have a rogue Supreme Court. By the way, Rumble is banned in Brazil. Colombia, their most valuable export is cocaine. Venezuela, well, they had 345,000% on inflation, but it's managed to go down to 172. Panama, 2 times the homicide rate of the United States. Costa Rica just hit record high homicide rates due to drug trafficking. Nicaragua, war-torn under communist rule since 2007. The Sandinistas. El Salvador, home to MS-13. Guatemala, under a state of emergency for gang violence. Mexico, the cartel literally controls 1/3 of all Mexican territory. Do I need to do Cuba, communism, totalitarian dictatorship? They arrest people if they simply speak out against their government. Dominican Republic, at least it's not Haiti, so I guess we'll give them that one. And Canada, well, you know, Canada is a communist hellhole, and in 2024, 5% of their deaths were due to assisted suicide, because that's a big thing there. So when he goes through all those places, we're just like, yeah, isn't that great? We're rooting for anyone who's not America, because America is objectively better by pretty much any quantifiable metric you want to use.
Exactly. I mean, the countries listed there have a long histories of human rights abuses, communism, the antithesis of America, cartels, corruption. This notion of national and cultural relativism is nonsense. It's idiotic. It's insulting to American patriots. It's insulting to the founders of the nation. It's insulting to the people who bled or died, who fought for American values, who died to preserve American values. And obviously the undertone of the Bad Bunny halftime show was, you're a racist bigot if you believe in borders and American sovereignty. Obviously, that was the message here. We're all the same, bro. America doesn't have its own unique identity. We're all America. No, we are not. And what people really want in terms of immigration for their nation, I think this applies capitalism. That's an important one. But the statement being made by Bad Bunny, I think, is the exact opposite of that. It's this naive notion of a globalist melting pot. Just give up on what it means to be Americans. Surrender your borders. Surrender your identity to the notion of this borderless utopia. But we know that that utopia does not exist. It's been an utter disaster. Look at Europe. Look at Joe Biden's border crisis. This naive worldview brought in people who do not share our values. And that's been proven time and time again. The latest example being all the fraud in Minneapolis and Minnesota. And don't even get me started on the culture of gangs, criminality, and cartels that's rampaging through so many American cities with these South American cartels taking over. So no, this is not what it means to be American. This is left-wing ideological slop that feels good on the surface. Ooh, my inclusion. But it's idiotic when you break it down. And the message here actually was not inclusion. The last 2 Super Bowl halftimes were the opposite of inclusion because I didn't see any white people. Hey, that's kind of interesting in a country that's majority white with a history built on white European values. It's very clear what the message was. Continuing to erase the very culture that made America the greatest country on earth. They want you to believe that borders don't matter, that culture doesn't matter, that America is just a random geographical accident. That's how we progress. No, friends. That's how you lose everything if you give in to these naive notions. Nothing about this Bad Bunny performance was wholesome. Nothing about it was patriotic. It was idiotic. It was emblematic of a naive worldview that's essentially tearing the Western world apart. That's the truth, or at least that's my truth. That's what I believe. America is more than just a border and soil. It's something worth fighting for. It's something worth preserving. But these woke people clearly want so badly to destroy it, as if it's not worth saving, as if it should be replaced with something else. That is not the path that we want to go down, friends. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, let's keep it moving.
All right, the Prince and Princess of Wales have tonight issued a brief statement on the Epstein files. It's their first public comment on the files, which include numerous references to Prince William's uncle. The statement delivered via a palace spokesperson said, and I quote, "I can confirm the Prince and Princess of Wales have been deeply concerned by the continuing revelations. Their thoughts remain focused on the victims." Now, we're joined live from London by News Corp's European correspondent, Sophie Ellsworth. Sophie, until now, the Prince and Princess of Wales have been content to let the King deal with the Andrew issue. Why are they speaking out now?
Yeah, great to be with you, James. Look, they're on a 3-day tour of Saudi Arabia, and this statement has been released by a Kensington Palace spokesperson to try and remove the fact that this will cloud their tour to Saudi Arabia. So that by them putting out this statement, they are hoping that they can now move on and focus on their tour that they have just started this morning, James. But there is no doubt this disaster that continues with the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor continues. And just on the front of the London Sun today, James, this is the front page. Andy leaked envoy docs to Epstein. And this details very confidential information that he allegedly gave to the late deceased pedophile financier, again putting the palace back in the spotlight and concerns over what exactly was Andrew Mountbatten Windsor getting up to. He's a disgraced royal. He's lost all his titles, and there is no doubt this disaster that continues to unfold with the Epstein files is continuing to be a headache for the royal family.
Yeah, well, the king obviously took pretty strong action against Andrew early on with the titles and kicking him out of the residence he was in. How much do you think this has damaged the royals' standing in the public eye? Do they think the royal family has done enough to mitigate this disaster? How are the public feeling about this in the UK?
Well, there has been criticism that the king didn't act swiftly enough. Now, we know in October last year, he stripped his a brother of the 65-year-old, he's a 65-year-old brother of all of criticism here in the UK that he should have done this sooner. But I spoke to Andrew Lowney, who wrote the book on the House of York, and he revealed many things in relation, many scandals.
Oh, it's been acting crazy. The internet, everything's just acting a little crazy. So we're just trying to deal with it. We only got one more video to go. This one and then one more, and then we're done for the night. So let's continue listening here.
For them, it keeps coming back to what was Andrew Mountbatten Windsor up to when he had these close ties with Jeffrey Epstein.
Of course, the royal family has been well acquainted with cancer in the last few years. I think you could probably argue that Andrew is a cancer on the royal family now, right? Is there any mechanism by which they can truly excise this cancer? Because the king is obviously now moving him off to Sandringham. And the thinking behind that, allegedly, is that it will try and contain things, because, of course, where he was previously, it was in public land, so he was being papped all the time and people were seeing him. So you move him out of the public eye, but is there anything they can actually do to say you're not part of the club anymore, or do they just have to wear this?
Well, Caleb, unfortunately for them, sending him off or shipping him off to Norfolk might not be the answer. Now, we saw vision of him last week at Windsor Estate in his four-wheel drive waving at the media as they were taking shots of him when he's under these serious allegations of misbehaviour while he was in close connection with Jeffrey Epstein. There's so many allegations levelled against him. Now, I must stress, he has always denied any wrongdoing, but some commentary here in the UK is really, this guy is at the point now, he almost needs to leave the UK. He is so disgraced and he is incredibly arrogant. All the royal commentators here say that he's so arrogant, he never thinks he's done anything wrong. But this relationship that he had with Jeffrey Epstein, which he said he ceased after he was convicted, that has proven not to be the case, has been incredibly damaging for the royal family. And it's very unfortunate for them because we know King Charles is battling cancer. He has other more serious issues personally to focus on, but instead it always comes back to what was Randy Andy, as he was described over here for many years. What was he up to?
Sophie, you mentioned the King. I couldn't help but think this statement coming out tonight comes just a couple of days after the King was publicly heckled as he was doing a walkabout. How much do you think that shook not only the King but other members of the royal family, that now they are being publicly targeted and asked questions about this issue? How much has that got to do with the release of this statement, do you think?
Well, they can't really control that, James. There's a limit to what they can control when they're out in the public space. And unfortunately for them, it's one of those moments caught on camera. The audio's caught on camera. It's very embarrassing for them. And there's a lot of shame brought on the royal family because of these allegations against Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. So the statement from Catherine and William this morning is a move by them, a strategic move by them to put this statement out, give the media something that they can publish, and because they have not spoken about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, it gives them a statement. It's Monday morning here, and hopefully the media pack will move on. Now, not forgetting, Andrew's not the only person in serious trouble here. The Prime Minister is in very serious trouble, Sir Keir Starmer, over his former UK ambassador to the US, Lord Peter Mandelson, and his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. So this scandal is not just engulfing the royal family, it's also engulfing Sir Keir Starmer, and there is doubt that whether or not he may remain Prime Minister. So the UK has a lot of problems on its hands.
Yeah, Sophie, we may well be crossing to you later in the week to talk about the vacancy at number 10, the way Starmer's going. Appreciate your time tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right, let's go to the last video of the night. Let me just set it up here. And then let's go ahead and set this up. Okay, here we go. So the last video of the night is coming out of Jason A. He's going to wrap up the show for tonight. So let's go ahead and set. Let's watch.
Вы сказали, что идет борьба добра со злом. А те на Западе, они же себя давно добром провозгласили.
Ну, у нас такого добра навалом, как на Западе, поэтому у нас свое добро есть, и именно оно побеждает зло.
Lavrov said, and I quote, "The files have revealed the face of the West and the deep state, or rather a deep union that rules the entire West and seeks to rule the whole world. Every normal person knows this is beyond comprehension and pure satanism."
All right, let's continue. This one is so wild. So I had known, and Ryan did a story about the Rothschild relationship with Epstein, obviously significantly important just because it's one of the most powerful banking houses in all of Europe. Long, of course, been connected to the rise and falls of many of the power brokers on the continent. But with their relationship with Epstein was not only deeper, but directly tied to our own country and our government. Let's put this up here on the screen. I had no idea about this. It says how the House of Rothschild became entangled with Epstein. What they specifically point to is that back in 2015, in December, after months of turmoil, the Swiss private bank owned by the Rothschild dynasty was closing in on a multi-million-dollar settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice for its part in helping rich Americans hide their assets. Behind the scenes, the group's French chief, Ariane de Rothschild, had tasked Jeffrey Epstein and the lawyer he had introduced her to, Kathy Rumler, who you will all remember, former Obama White House official, deputy White House chief counsel, with closing the deal. Here's how the exchange went. 45 mio, question mark, as we casually throw around these numbers. Rothschild asked Epstein in December 2015. He replied, counting a $10 million fee for the lawyers and $25 million for him, quote, "I think you will find all less than 80 pretty good." She responds, "Deep thanks for your help." Days later, this gets announced. The Department of Justice, literally just days later, puts out this announcement saying, Justice Department announces joint resolution with 2 banks under the Swiss bank program. The Department of Justice announced today that Edmond de Rothschild and Edmond de Rothschild S.A. have reached a joint resolution under the department's Swiss bank program. EDR Switzerland will pay a penalty of more than $45 million, make a complete disclosure of the cross-border activities, etc. There is no public reporting at the time to indicate Epstein's role, but you will remember here, we now have a deal brokered by a private Swiss bank, the Rothschild, literally one of the richest families in the history of Europe, who is working with Jeffrey Epstein days before and pays him $25 million. Potentially for what reason? Not just Kathy Rumler, but maybe for the connection, finder's fee, some sort of influence where he is able to negotiate this deal on behalf of this bank and the U.S. Department of Justice to the point where you can all see it and go back and read. There's no mention of him. What role did he play?
Crazy.
Who did he call? That, if anything, shows the extent of influence. That right there is true influence. A private Swiss bank, some of the richest people in Europe, who call you and they're like, hey man, 25 million for what? For a $45 million settlement that's announced, but you got to be pulling some serious strings to merit more than half of what the overall settlement is going to be on top of the legal fees, which are already factoring in for this. What were they paying for? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, but it was announced just like they said. Cool, 45 mil. Exactly what he was saying. 45 mil. This is how it's going to go. I can make sure that this all happened. I'm assuming you don't just get paid somebody $25 million for nothing. So that is a very, very significant one.
Yeah.
That shows his level of influence. Seriously, like who did he call and what was he able to do to secure something like this? Because they'll pay anything to make something like that go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. And corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled, so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. And there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every inspector general's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee, so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign.
Damn.
Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. It doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on. It is taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore a government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you.
And, you look at these emails, you see elaborate communication with Ariana de Rothschild. They clearly had a very friendly relationship. Of course, she's downplaying, the bank is downplaying at this point, et cetera. You can read their statements. But they were really chummy. She was asking for advice on all kinds of personal, messy matters that were going on within the family. And he's there as the sounding board and, reliable friend for her to, bounce ideas off of, et cetera. And then is involved in this very direct, extremely significant, important way. I just saw this one that just Murtaza Hussein just pulled up that it looks like Epstein was murdered. Wow. And then we also had those other emails, Bannon, I think, where he was texting back and forth in that particular exchange where he's talking about his theories about what happened there, and that's another question. Did he have inside knowledge on that one as well? But you just can see all of these connections with the most powerful people in the entire world. And you can also see from his communications, for example, with Peter Thiel and with others, and how they sort of view the world as just their plaything to exploit. With Libya, I think there's all kinds of money that can be had there, and talking about how the most financially profitable thing for them is global collapse and chaos and war. And that's, what they actively hope for and wish for. I mean, you just see the way that they view things and how he somehow ends up in connection with all of these really powerful people at all these extraordinary moments in history. And, with this one with the Rothschilds, why it's so significant is because he directly appears to have had a hand in exactly what this settlement looked like down to the dollar amount. So it is completely wild.
Mm-hmm. Completely wild indeed. And thank you, Jason A, for a great video, great upload. Last one of the night. I want to thank everyone who came through. Truly appreciate you guys so much. The ones who are rewatching, also thank you. I'm cutting it to 2 hours because I want to get to bed early. I'm very tired. My body's tired, and I just need to get off of here and go lay down and get ready for bed. So with that said, have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. And I'll be back on here tomorrow. Hopefully, if I'm feeling good, I'll be back on here tomorrow, and we'll do it all over again starting at 7:30. All right, guys. See you later. Peace.